Good morning, Steve. Present and accounted for. So I'm going to do just a couple page reading from the book Attuned by Thomas Hubl. Developing awareness of inner body communication. As children, we all learned about the 5 gross senses. Ooh, gross. That isn't in the book, that ooh, gross part. I just threw that in. Each associated with its own physical sense organ. Eyes, ears, tongue, nose, skin. Later we may have learned about additional senses such as balance, proprioception, the sense of movement and position in space, and interoception, the sense of the internal body, such as when you feel thirsty, hungry, cold, or hot. In addition to these bodily perceptions, we possess many subtle senses, including cognition, emotion, intuition, resonance, or dissonance, and other impressions, any of which may arise independently or in combination with physical sensations and mental or emotional impressions. Most of us pay far less attention to the finer, subtler information we receive, yet it often holds essential information. A truth that our world's many spiritual traditions have been pointing to for millennia. All you millennials. As we discussed in the previous chapter, by utilizing a practice of attunement, we become better able to perceive our internal and external worlds together and in higher resolution. And however high the resolution we achieve, a still higher level is always possible. The mystics say that we live simultaneously in a physical universe and a subtle universe, information field. Our physical bodies create the central focus of our awareness in the third dimension, but we also exist as empty space. We are at once particle and wave. We've all experienced the limitations of the physical universe. We have fallen off bicycles or run into solid objects while walking through a crowd of people or in our own living rooms. And I've done this twice in the past couple days. I walked into a screen door. That was a few days ago. And I think it was yesterday, I walked into a sliding glass door. Boom. It's like, wake up. That's not in the book. That was in my own experience. Our own living rooms, and it was in my living room. We all know the pain of failing to pay close enough attention as we jog through a park or walk at nighttime in bare feet. With transparent communications, we learn to look out for the sensation of energetic resistance and energetic obstacles that we encounter in the relational dimension. For example, you learn to perceive more clearly what a no feels like coming from another person, even when they haven't yet spoken the word. You learn to feel the sensation of resistance, defense pattern, like bumping into a closed door. And I didn't even read ahead. I just did that all on my own. Boom. Just trying to walk through a closed door. I mean, it was glass, so I could have the excuse like, oh, I didn't see it. Well, okay. But you were the one that closed it very shortly before you walked into it. Presence. I did spend the day yesterday in a meditative state, a contemplative state. I was in silence most of the day, just internally doing these exercises that I've been learning from the book Attunement. But I hadn't gotten to this part about walking into doors. So, now maybe I won't do it as frequently as I have the last few days. Like bumping into a closed door. If you're unaware of this subtle resistance, you will miss its cues and may push too far, which creates a feeling of pressure in the other person. a pressure that will be relayed back so that both of you are made uncomfortable as a result. The resistance and discomfort you feel will actually begin to lower the available life force inside you. You might experience this as a feeling of tension and then attempt to compensate for it or suppress it. Whether consciously or unconsciously, you will feel that something isn't right. Perhaps later, as you walk away, you'll feel tremendous relief that the conversation is over. But the fact that resistance, tension, and discomfort were present are signals that you spent that time with the other person in an unconscious space. You missed something, and that has consequences. You may feel tired or confused or even a little disturbed or irritated after the fact. Maybe you start talking about the other person to a friend or to try to get clear about what happened and attempt to resolve the unprocessed energy between you. And in one of my comments the other day, a new subscriber wrote, "Can you do a video about karma?" And I wrote back just my description of karma, and I said basically, well, karma, every experience needs to be completed. And karma is the process of coming to face an non-completed experience. Like there's still a whole bunch of energy around it. And so healing is the release of that energy around an incomplete or non-completed experience. And then I'm reading in the book now that this definition is, you know how there's pages and then there's a little section of words off to the side of the page. It's kind of like a key point. Well, it says karma is postponed experience. Synchronicity is reading something like that after this person has asked me to do a video on karma, and instead I just read a little piece that karma is postponed experience. I said it differently, but the same thing. So if you walk away from a situation, meeting, or conversation with a lower degree of vitality or aliveness than you had when you arrived, you know you've missed something. Our life energy is an important indicator or gauge for conscious processes. The Eastern traditions refer to this unprocessed residue as karma, untended energy from the past that continues to surface in one's present. In other words, karma is postponed experience. The presence of karma creates an irritation, which is a signpost about the shadow. Each time I experience irritability, a notification bell is ringing in my awareness. If I let myself notice the sensation and feel what it's asking of me, the disturbance can be transformed into a blessing. From disturbance to blessing. Who wants that experience? Last paragraph. When understood this way, we see that feeling and noticing the irritation itself is a subtle perception. And there are many others, moments of resistance, exhaustion, and depletion, for example. These sensations need not be felt as negative, but rather as subtle indicators pointing to an opportunity to look deeper, to create more inner awareness, more inner space, and more attunement and availability to what exists. This process is about both listening and perceiving, which means that it is a kind of inner communication. Okay. I would say that sums up my past 55 years, is learning to experience the present moment as fully as possible and learn to remain present while what appears to be the past surfaces in the present with whatever emotional energies it's entangled with. I think that'll be enough for now. And we will see you next time that you show up.